Please close your eyes. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your body and mind with the fresh air, and exhale slowly. See if we can just remain in the present moment and not think about anything other than our breath for now. Just take a slow, deep breath in, filling your lungs, energizing your body and mind. And exhale slowly, breathing out any anxieties that you may be holding inside. Another slow, deep breath in, bringing in the positive energy. And as we exhale, breathing out any negativity or judgment that we're holding towards others. Take another deep breath in, feeling the cool breath going in through your nose, rejuvenating your mind. And as we exhale, let's breathe out any anxiety or fear that we have about the future. Another slow, deep breath in, energizing your body and mind. As you exhale, breathe out any insecurities that you're holding about yourself. Take a moment to bring your awareness down into your heart. Just take a moment of focus and feel the beating of your heart. And concentrate even more and see if you can feel the actual rhythm of your heartbeat. And ask yourself the question, what is it that keeps the heart beating like this? Many traditions say that the soul resides in the region of the heart. Try to experience yourself seated in the region of the heart. Many traditions say that God is the eternal companion of the soul, always right next to us at every step. Take a moment to feel the presence of God within the heart, seated right next to us. Now visualize God seated in the heart of everybody in this room. Now visualize God seated in the heart of every living being on this earth, whether human or animal or vegetation. Now visualize God in every atom on this planet and the entire universe. Just like the sun is located in one spot, but the rays of the sun permeate the entire universe. That is the nature of God's energy. Take another deep breath in, realizing that the breath is filled with God's energy. And allow that breath to fill your body and mind. Exhale slowly. Take another slow, deep breath in. Exhale slowly, feeling the weight of your feet on the floor. Feeling the weight of your body against the chair. One more slow, deep breath in. You can bring your awareness to your eyes, and you can slowly open your eyes.
So, what a great day it is, right? It's a wonderful day to be here at Unity of Birmingham. I'm Reverend Charles Perry, and I am the senior minister here at Unity of Birmingham. And today I get to have a special treat that I don't get to have too often. I get to sit here with you guys and listen to somebody talk. And it's going to be awesome. Today we have a special guest, and I brought my phone up here with me because that's where I have his bio. So some of you have already met Pandit. He's been here a couple of times before. But the official lowdown on him is that he is an inspirational speaker, meditation teacher, and well-being expert. He's spoken on stress management. I can say this, stress management. I need some of that. And mindful leadership at Google, J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Intel, Novartis, and many college campuses, such as Harvard and Columbia. He's spoken at a TEDx conference and has been featured on PBS, NPR, the New York Times, and writes for the Huffington Post. So he is also an author, and we have some of his books and CDs on the table at the back of the sanctuary, and you can pick up one or the other, or both of those, on your way out today. But for right now, just please help me welcome Pandit the Urban Monk.
Thank you for such a warm welcome back. As I think it's my third time. I never expected to be coming to Alabama so much. I've never been here. A friend of mine just was doing his PhD work here and decided to start inviting me to come and do some talks. I said, sure, we'll come out and see what happens. And it's been so wonderful. Everybody here is so warm all the time. And the songs that we sang were so inspirational. God is real, we are real. What if God had a face? I was thinking, wow, that's really incredible. Makes you really, it's a great meditation. What if God really did have a face? What would it look like? Would we be ready to see it? Would we accept the face of God if we saw it? Would we question it? Would we doubt it? What would happen if the face of God actually manifested to us? It was such a beautiful, I was smiling throughout all these wonderful songs. Thank you for singing them, and the band for playing such a beautiful music. So today's, the title of today's talk is Making the Mind Your Friend. Has anyone ever had any difficulty? Probably not, but anybody ever have difficulty with their mind? Okay, all right, I wanted to see if I was on the same page with everyone, and maybe everybody here is really peaceful and at harmony with their mind. I don't know, I live in New York, so we have crazy minds out there. So we're all on the same page, and making the mind our friend, that's a really, really important concept. And it's one of the key teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, which is considered one of the most prominent spiritual texts of India, of the Hindu faith. And the words Bhagavad Gita mean the song of God. Gita means song and Bhagavad means of God. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it's being explained that if we want to have a relationship with God and we want to go back to the spiritual realm or heaven, then we need to make friends with our mind. Because our mind will do almost everything possible to keep us away from God. Right? And that is how the mind is right now, because it's a little bit unhealthy, it's a little bit untrained. I've given the example before that our mind is like a 2-year-old child. It generally doesn't want to do anything good on its own. You know, it just wants to have fun, and even if that means destruction or whatever it means, it just wants to have fun. Now, we can let a 2-year-old run wild. That's your choice of parenting. Or you can give the 2-year-old something productive and something through which it can learn and grow properly and do good in the world and do good for themselves. So that's the nature of the mind right now. Our mind rather do the easy thing and rather not come to the Sunday service, right? You almost have to sometimes fight your mind to get here. The mind rather just stay inside, turn on the TV, and drink your 5 cups of coffee. Like, that's so much easier. It's so easy to do that. And how many times has our mind won that battle? Too many times. Yes, mine too, right? I lived as a monk for, some of you may have heard me before. I lived as a monk for 15 years in New York City. And as a monk, we woke up at 4 in the morning because our morning services started at 5 a.m. Now you can imagine how many battles I've had with my mind when the alarm clock goes off at 4 and you're like, it's 4 a.m. No one, hardly anyone on the planet is up right now. And I'm getting up. But the point is, the mind is very trainable. If we train the mind to do the right thing, it will do the right thing. But that requires training, it requires discipline, but everything in life requires a little discipline. You have to get up to go to work. You've trained your mind, we have to do this, because otherwise there's no paycheck and then there's no food on the table. We've trained ourselves to do that. We train ourselves to take care of our family members. And so we do. Even if it's difficult, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult. But all of these things require training and discipline, and especially the mind. Now, it's really important to understand one basic concept, that we have a mind, and not that we are the mind. If you take a moment to think about that, right? We have a mind, and not that we are the mind. And the one way we can understand this is we have random thoughts throughout the day. Psychology Today had an article that said that an average person goes through between 25 and 50,000 thoughts per day. So that's between 1,000 and 2,000 thoughts an hour. That's how busy a place our mind is. Now, are all of those thoughts conscious? Are you planning to have 25 to 50,000 thoughts? No. How many of you, since we've been here for the last 20, 25 minutes, already automatically planned what your lunch is going to be? Oh, I guess everyone. Everyone's thinking the same thing. You're all on the same page here. Everyone's planning their meal. Maybe you're all going out together. I don't know. And maybe some of us have started to think about the past. Just by sitting here, there's so much beautiful music and such a wonderful gathering, but we're thinking about the past. Maybe something someone said a week ago, a month ago, a year ago that bothered us, and somehow our mind just decided to think about that. So we didn't choose to have that thought, and you didn't plan to plan your next meal while sitting here. You didn't tell yourself that, oh no, when the service starts, during the 3rd song, I'm going to plan my lunch. Maybe some of you did plan that. That's all right. I shouldn't just make these blanket statements. But for the most of us, we didn't plan to do this. So our mind just kind of wanders back and forth, back and forth. Too often, and we discussed some of this last night in our workshop, the meditation workshop we had, too often, when the mind is stuck in the past, it's stuck on the negative and the painful things that have happened. And last night we asked a question, how many of us are still bothered by something that happened to us, negative, that somebody did to us 5 or 10 years ago? And quite a few people raised their hand. Now, something difficult that happened 5 or 10 years ago, it's actually no longer relevant for us. If you ask yourself, is it helping me in any way right now? Is it helping me make more money? Is it helping me love others more? Is it doing anything positive that happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Probably not. It's pretty insignificant. But the fact that we're holding on to it, that's pretty significant. Because the only thing that experience and that thought is doing for us right now is it's causing us misery. It's causing us pain and emotional distress. It's burning away our energy and positive emotions. It's burning all that away. So, why do we keep bringing up things from a year, 5, 10, 20 years ago? You're not doing it voluntarily. Your mind is on its own program. Because you would never choose to remember the negativities because they're painful. You're not thinking that, okay, I want to make my day really miserable, so let me think about what happened 5 years ago. We never choose to do that. So with these, we understand that the mind is on its own program, or the future. We constantly worry about the future. Our money, our health, our living situation, so many things. Planning is good, but unnecessary. When does planning turn into unnecessary worrying? That's something you have to decide. Because the future is completely out of our hand. We can plan, we can organize things, but really what's going to happen tomorrow, if this microphone stops working, there's nothing we can really do except try and change the battery. But if I start worrying about last night, well, what happens if the microphone stops? My gosh, what am I going to do? It's going to be such an embarrassment. Oh, it's going to be so difficult. I could choose to do that, or say, okay, when it happens, we'll deal with it. That's it. We'll just deal with it. So our mind is very much like a set of windshield wipers going back and forth and back and forth. Most of the time, our mind is almost never in the present, which is the only moment that we actually have some control over. It's planning or it's in the past. But that's not really important for us right now. The most important thing is in the present moment. Because if we make the most of this present moment, then naturally our future moments are going to be much happier and much more positive. Because we gave everything we had to this present moment. So this is what I learned and continue to learn while I lived as a monk. And some of you may already know my story. I grew up in Southern California. My parents had very simple, humble beginnings. They were they had a booth on Venice Beach in Los Angeles, selling gift items and just clothing and sunglasses and things like that. Within a matter of 5 or 7 years, they established a multi-million-dollar jewelry business. I don't know how they did it. I was a little kid. They worked really hard. I think they were working 7 days a week. And gradually, this business became very successful. But in the early 90s, their business caught on fire and they lost everything. It was really a tragic moment for our family. After that, it's a very long story, which is all described in my book, but we ended up living in post-communist Bulgaria for a couple of years. In 1993 to 1995, where nobody spoke English. And there was nothing on TV that I could even understand. It was all Bulgarian and Russian. It was a very uprooting and difficult, stressful, uncertain time for me and my parents. After spending 2 years there, we moved back to the U.S., this time to the East Coast, where after doing a variety of different things, I decided to go to India in 1999 to take a meditation retreat for 1 month. And that's where I learned to live with monks, waking up at 4 in the morning, sleeping on the hardwood floor with a thin straw mat, learning to meditate for 2 hours a day, which I still do every day, and that shocks people. Like, it's only 10% of my day. We spend 20% on Facebook. I'm like, I think 10% is I probably need to give a little bit more than 10%, right? We spend 20% on Facebook, 20% gossiping about others, and then 30% of it sleeping. So, we have a very little amount of time that's actually productive. So I'm like, 10% is not that much when you look at it in that perspective. We spend half an hour in the shower, in the bathroom, cleaning ourselves. We spend an hour or so eating throughout the day. These are all things we do to maintain ourselves. So why not, similar amount of time to clean the mind? Right? So you maintain the body, got to maintain the mind. Mind controls the body, right? So, that 1 month in India turned into 6 months. And after those 6 months, I came back to the US and moved into a monastery in New York. Did not plan to become a monk, though. I just liked the lifestyle so much, so I thought I'd just stick around a little longer, see what it's like. I ended up spending literally 15 years as a monk. It happened to me. I didn't plan it. Like growing up in LA, if you asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up? Monk was not going to be my answer. Like living without money, sleeping on hardwood floor, waking up at 4 in the morning was not going to be my answer. And I don't know if that's going to be the answer for anybody, because I don't think anybody really plans to go in this direction. It just happens. So much happened to me in my life that I knew I had to go deeper and figure out who I was, what my purpose in life was, who is God, and how do I have that connection with God. Like all of those experiences were really positive because it helped me understand that that is the real purpose of human life, is to understand who I am, what is this world about, what's my purpose, what is God, and how do I connect with God on a daily basis, on a regular basis, and not just once a week or not just once a year. How do I make spirituality a part of my everyday experience? And that's really what I understood. And that's a lot of this knowledge I was getting from the Bhagavad Gita. Again, the text that I already referenced. Because the Bhagavad Gita is a text where a warrior is facing the dilemma of his life. He has to go into battle. And the battle is with a lot of his family members over a kingdom. And he doesn't want to do this. But Krishna, which means all attractive, or God, in the Bhagavad Gita encourages Arjuna that yes, this is a very difficult battle for you. And you're not doing it for selfish reasons. And the family members that are on the other side have committed a lot of crimes. So you running away from this battle, you'll be doing a disservice to yourself, to your duty, and to the citizens of the country. So it's important that you go into this and remain steady and equipoised and balanced throughout your duty. So we can't imagine how difficult of a task that must be to go into battle against your family members. No matter how much animosity there might be, it's still family. So he has this battle with his mind. His mind wasn't his best friend because his mind wanted him to run away from doing the right thing. And that may be true for us. We know a lot of times what the right thing to do is, but we walk away from it because it's difficult. The right thing is always more difficult than the wrong thing. It takes a lot more courage and strength to do the right thing than to do the wrong thing. And so, but the more we do the right thing, the stronger we become. It's like working out the muscle of doing the right thing. You make the muscle stronger by keep doing it over and over again. Fighting the mind. Telling the mind that you're not interested in doing the wrong thing. But again, that's not so easy all the time. And that's where the practice of meditation and prayer, I feel, come in handy. Because meditation is an exercise for the mind. Because when we meditate, our mind wanders, and we have to really work hard and focus hard to keep it in the present moment. And that strengthens the mind. Just like we jog to build our endurance and stamina. And the more you do it on a regular basis, the stronger you become, the more stamina you develop. Same thing with meditation. The discipline is going to be able to do it every day, even if it's for 5 minutes. Forget my 2 hours that I mentioned. Don't let that scare you away. Right? Even if it's for 5 minutes every day, you do it for 30 days, you'll see that a habit develops, that now you realize that it's helping you. It's helping you reduce stress. It's helping you get along with others better. It's helping you maybe get better sleep. And when you actually feel the tangible benefits of it, then we'll continue to do it on our own over and over again every day. Right? When we feel the benefit, then nobody else needs to convince us. But the point is to be able to start and get it to a point where it's a habit. 5 minutes. Think about how we spend so much of our time throughout the day with TV and social media and just kind of like daydreaming or whatever it may be. Here's 5 very productive minutes to keep this thing healthy, which is responsible for the rest of our body and mind. And the Bhagavad Gita explains that in order to really understand the divine or God, we need to become friends with our mind. We need to be on the same page. Because our mind, like I said, does not want to do this right now. It'd rather do something else. And it'll find an amazing amount of brilliant excuses to avoid the spiritual and go do something else. It's brilliant when it comes to that. Incredible. And as the mind gets stronger, it says that a yogi, an advanced yogi, an advanced meditator, is able to treat happiness and distress and success and failure with equality. And that's very interesting. We're happy and elated when something good happens, when some success comes. But we're really depressed and upset when something negative happens. Why is that? It's a question. Why do we become like that? And is it in our power to remain happy even when something negative happens? Isn't it just a product of the mind? Us allowing ourselves to become negative or depressed when something didn't work out, that's just a product of the mind. Right? Because if something good happened right away, you'd be, happy again. So why not just get happy again without even if the good thing didn't happen? See, so the mind plays a lot of tricks on us. So anytime we get down or depressed or anxious, let's understand that it's really a product of the mind. And I don't need to listen to the mind. My happiness doesn't depend on the mind. So an advanced yogi, an advanced meditator, will treat happiness and distress and success and failure with equal vision. So we want to become equal vision yogis. That's really what we want to become. And not just that, something even more difficult. Those who advance even more in their meditation and who want to develop a love of the divine, they are able to see friends and enemies, well-wishers and people who've done something negative to us with an equal mind. This is a tough one. Like, friend who helps me and enemy who's hurt my reputation. Equal vision? How in the world is that possible? Right? How is that possible? But isn't it really a product of the mind? Isn't it a product of the mind that we get negative towards someone? We are quick to judge and we're quick to misunderstand others. That is a product of an unhealthy mind. So, because when we get negative towards someone, it's not fixing the situation at all. Because now it's harder to make up and fix it. Because now we're negative. But if the mind is trained and healthy and strong, we can train the mind to think of it in a different situation. Okay, if somebody said something negative about me, is there some truth to it? Maybe it just didn't come out in the right way. Did I contribute to that negativity from them? We usually don't take the time out to look at our own selves and how we contributed to that. We're so quick to judge and blame and make an enemy out of someone. Sometimes you could have a friend and you're walking and you walk past them in the hallway or something and they don't see you, you said hi, they don't say anything, and now you're like, what happened? They didn't respond. I guess we weren't as good friends as we thought we were. I'm going to pull out my phone, go on Facebook and unfriend them right now. Okay, that's it. And maybe they genuinely didn't see you. But you see, the reason I'm giving this example is to understand that our mind is not our best friend right now. It's not our best friend. It jumps to conclusions very quickly. Very quickly. And it decides who's our friend, who somebody helps us, they're our friend. Someone doesn't help us, they're our enemy. No, let's not do that. Because we'll go through our life having so many enemies in our head. Do we want to live a life filled with enemies? We don't have to have that. And it's difficult if someone has hurt us to have a positive attitude towards them. But it requires work to try to create that positive approach to others. It takes work. Whatever happened, I'm supposed to learn from it, I'm supposed to grow from it. And that can be our mood. And then the Bhagavad Gita also says the very advanced yogi is able to see a very educated person, an uneducated person, or even an animal, all with an equal vision. So basically what the Bhagavad Gita is saying is that with the help of the mind, we can develop an equal vision towards everybody. Because especially in this country, we have such a huge problem, right? By looking at people based on their religion, their gender, ethnicity, color, all of these things. We found so many ways to dislike each other. It's incredible. We're like great at finding differences with each other just so we can dislike people. It's really incredible. Because at the core, the Bhagavad Gita explains, we're the soul. We're a part and parcel of the divine. And this right here, skin, it's just a clothing. That's all it is. So we're judging each other based on our clothing, not even at who we are. We're all family, actually, coming from the same source, and we're all here fighting. We must be giving God a real heartache every single day, right? It's just like nothing more painful for the parents to see their children fighting based on superficial external things. And that's what God gets to see every single day. That's his movie every single day. Simplest thing to do, really, to please God, is if we just kind of get along with each other. And to do that, we need that spiritual vision, to understand we are the soul. We're eternal. We're not just these physical material bodies. These are temporary vehicles. They're here now and they'll be gone tomorrow. But beyond that, we're going to continue to exist. So you can see how much our mind can become our worst enemy. It sees the negative situation, makes it worse. If there's something positive, it thinks it should be even more positive. How come I didn't get more? And that's the nature of the mind. It gets something it doesn't appreciate it because like, oh, I deserved more. No, you got what you were meant to get. Be happy with that. Be grateful that you got that. And be grateful if something difficult happened, because then we grew a little from that. We don't grow so much from the good things, we grow from the bad things, actually. Why do we have tests in school? Because we study hard. It's difficult. Nobody wants to. If there's no test, we'll never grow. We'll never study. But these are tests that are meant to help us grow. But if we don't have the proper training in our mind, then we'll only see the negative, or I deserved more, and I should have gotten more, and people should be giving me more attention, and all of this. So our mind can be a really beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. And right now it's just a little untrained. And what's interesting is, throughout our life we've been told to take care of our physical health and body, but no one ever tells us to take care of our mind. And that is the control center for our behavior and our emotional well-being. And so the more, and when we did a little meditation, you can notice how the mind wanted to wander away, right? The mind wanted to wander away. But really our goal is to see if we can try to become aware of the nature of our mind and the thoughts it has, and try to keep it in the present moment, and try to see all others as parts and parcels of God, of the divine, and how we actually are related to one another in a very deep and profound way, in a way that we can't even imagine. And not really see each other and judge each other based on externals. So these are just some of the incredible benefits of trying to make the mind our friend. And now the ultimate benefit is, if we can make the mind our friend and live in this way, we're seeing with equal vision, then we can really develop a love for God. Because we can't develop a love of God as long as we're hating people. It's just not going to happen. There's no way. So I hope that we can go on this journey with our mind, become aware of how it functions, what it's thinking, and really try to absorb it in understanding that we're all related and that God is also in our heart with us every single day. So I'd like to close with just a brief meditation. Again, just bring your awareness into your heart and take a slow, deep breath in. And experience yourself as being something eternal, a spark of the divine. And and try to see everyone, human or animal, as a spark of that divine. And try from deep within your heart to express love for every living being in this room and on the planet, regardless of their color or ethnicity or even species. Just take a few deep breaths in. You can slowly open your eyes. So we'll play a short video that talks about it's a 2-minute video about my journey and the book, and then I'll be back there to talk to you more. Thank you very much.
My name is Gadadhar Pandit Das, and the name of the book is Urban Monk, Exploring Karma, Consciousness, and the Divine. When most people think of what a monk is, the first thing that comes to their minds is, mountain peaks, forests, a beautiful monastery in the middle of nowhere. I live surrounded by nightclubs, bars, tattoo shops, laundromats, subway stations, bus stations, and nonstop foot traffic. A lot of monks do live in the city for the purpose of helping others find a more balanced way to live. Every day I'm talking with people. I work as a religious life advisor or a chaplain, and part of that responsibility involves talking to people, listening to them, listening to their problems, helping them come up with solutions to their problems, helping them lighten the load of all the difficulties that they're going through. I didn't write the book with the idea of publishing it. It started as a journal because I wanted to reflect on my own life. I decided to turn my journal into a book because I thought maybe that me sharing my story would inspire others to perhaps also turn towards spirituality in difficult times. The book goes through my own journey, growing up in Southern California, where my parents lose their multi-million-dollar business, which forces us to move to East Europe. Being so uprooted from my society and my culture and my lifestyle that I had in LA, it was a very difficult time, very uncertain time. And so I decided to explore the Bhagavad Gita, one of the main spiritual texts of India, to understand why all this is happening to me. Why am I suffering so intensely? And at that moment, the Bhagavad Gita really gave me the answers that I was looking for. It gave me solace. It actually gave me hope. A lot of times when people go through difficulties in their lives, we just become fixated on trying to fix the problem. Find a quick solution so the suffering goes away, so the pain goes away. However, that's not really getting to the core of the problem, which is deep within inside. One of the things I try to help people understand is the nature of their own mind, and that if we can actually nourish the mind, feed the mind through meditation and exercise the mind, because when you meditate, the mind wanders and you know that it just went somewhere. Then you have to bring it back. And that bringing it back is an exercise. It's like, I like to think of it as push-ups for the mind. What I'm really hoping is that people will be inspired through this book to give their spirituality a serious chance, not only when they're struggling, but when things are good also. Just to keep it as much a part of their life as breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Make spirituality a part of the everyday experience.